Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask the Chief. I'm Antonio Stitt, your host, and we're going to, on our show, just to share with you, we do parenting, coaching, concepts, new ideas of how to create harmony and balance in the home. That is our focal point. That's what we do, and we have a book out called Change the Parent, Change the Child, and that's pretty much where it all started. I was a police officer for the village of Highland Hills, which I still am, and as a police chief now. And we just have a passion for correcting bad behavior in children. It began as a mentoring program that I had out at a local boys' school, and where I talked and mentored and coached the young men that were there and the inmates there. And then that developed into the program where I'll start beginning talking to parents. As I talked to parents, I started realizing more and more that I need to talk to parents. Never accusing or blaming parents, but understanding that the child's concepts and ideas of how they proceed and how they develop friends, how they pick who they want to hang around, how they develop their ideas comes from where? It has to come from home. So I said, let me start talking to parents, because the way we were raised in my generation does not work today. And that's why we wrote this book, Change the Parent, Change the Child. We offer very doable and easy to do concepts on how to correct the behavior of our children and how to create harmony and balance in the home. An organized, structured parent produces organized and structured children. That's our concept. Okay, we have our first caller calling in. Let me see. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. What's your question?
Okay, so my question might be a little challenging. I am newly married, almost 2 years, and I have 2 kids that are about preteen age. My husband doesn't have any. How can I help him in the realm of discipline? It seems like I'm always making the disciplinary requests and laying down the rules in the house, but he doesn't feel like my discipline is correct. So how can I make him a part of that and understand his discipline, since he has no children of his own?
Okay. How long have you been married?
Almost 2 years.
Okay.
Almost 3 years, I'm sorry.
3 years? Okay, here's the thing. First, communication is very, very important. You have to spend a lot of time sitting down with your husband, talking about your ideas of discipline and your expectations. By him being new into the situation, you have to understand that your kids didn't fall in love with him just because you did. So as far as him being involved in discipline, it's going to take time for him to get to know the kids and be very much involved with them on a regular basis, to where he's loving them and caring for them and nurturing them. Those things are very important first. And once some years have gone by and time spent in that way, which is getting there, that then you guys will have to sit down and talk about a level of discipline and expectations. He is the head of the household, but it'll take both of you guys communicating and talking about expectations and what you expect, and then holding the kids to a standard that you both can agree with. But it takes both of you talking and communicating together.
Okay.
Does that help?
That does. I think so. We kind of had that back and forth issue where he feels like he's being whooping for everything, and I try to tell him that, kids aren't disciplined the same way we were disciplined as we.
That's correct.
When we were younger, things were always sit down, be quiet, you don't have a say. And now, kids are a little bit different now. You have to kind of change with that time, but they still have to understand that level of respect. So we're getting there, I think, but that helps a lot.
Does he really enforce discipline? Does he want to give them whippings and that kind of stuff?
No, he doesn't. He shies away from any discipline at all. It's always, he'll come to me and he wants me to discipline him. Mm-hmm. But it can be situations where I'm not even there or around, and something's going on. So I try to get him to kind of step up to the plate, and they have to realize that whatever he says goes just like if I were to say it, because they're 11 and 14, so they've only known me for that amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's very true. But the bulk of their discipline has to come from you. It'll take you making sure they understand that who he is, and they have to listen to what he says. And when they don't, there has to be discipline behind that. So the bulk of their discipline will come from you, and of both you together. But they have to really understand that they have no way to turn, that they must follow instructions and do what they're told to do. And you're the enforcer there. I mean, you're the one establishing discipline. He enforces your play.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
But you're most welcome. See, I see that a lot in blended families, and it's very difficult when you work when a spouse goes into a ready-made family, and you have to learn how to establish that, because if one has a very strict disciplinary idea or concept and the other one doesn't, that can be a disastrous situation. That's why it takes much communication by the husband and wife, communicating and talking and getting ideas and concepts and come to compromises about how we're going to proceed. When there's a new spouse into a family that's already established, generally speaking, it takes 4 to 5 years before that spouse can be involved in discipline, because those kids did not fall in love with you just because you fell in love with their mother or their father. So it takes time and much communication and compromise. Okay, we're going to take our second question. Okay. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, what's your question?
I have a 19-year-old daughter who graduated from high school last year, and she hasn't enrolled in school yet. She hasn't got a job, and she stays out all night. And after reading your book, I tried to deal with it, but what do I do next? I haven't came to a solution.
Okay, and you read the book, and you see, what you take from the book? I mean, you like the book? What'd you think about it?
I like the book. I felt that those things would work.
Okay.
But after applying them, they're not working for me.
Okay, I think maybe what you may want to do is what I often tell. First of all, let me tell you, that's a very popular question. I hear that question a lot about, I realize some things that have been done that maybe could have been handled better, but now more or less, what do I do now? Is that kind of how you feeling?
Yes.
Yeah. Usually what needs to happen is, again, I start with communication. You talk and explain the areas that you feel that you were deficient in, or you can even tell them that I've been reading and learning some things, and I see some things that I could have handled better, and just tell her on how you were raised. But we have to correct that, and so we're going to try within this next year to make some changes and improvements on how we do things. We're going to work on becoming more organized, more structured, exercise a little more integrity, and a little more responsibility and accountability. And that's what you want to focus on, that you want to start holding your daughter accountable for everything she says, everything she does, and sit down with her and help her to create a plan, a 1-year plan about where she wants to be by this time next year. It has to be a positive, organized, structured plan on how she's going to improve as a human being and put herself in a better position by this time next year. And you must hold her to that plan. So you sit down with her and help create a plan of responsibility, accountability, integrity, all these things that she's going to need to become successful in life. And then you begin that by daily helping her to hold to those standards. Basically what you want to do, you want to raise her standard of expectation for herself. That's the beginning. That's how it has to start. And those concepts are in my book. We have parenting classes, workshops. You can contact me on Facebook, email, Twitter, and I'll give you can ask questions on a consistent basis, and I'll help you along the way. But this is how it has to start. Change the parent, change the child is not a one-shot deal. It's a how-to manual, but you have to stay consistent, because what I have to do is change your mindset. When I change your mindset, your behavior will change automatically with how you interact with your daughter. So that's the beginning. It has to start there. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. On this this part of our show, I'd like to take this time to tell you, let you see my heart, let you see my passion about why I'm doing this. First of all, I care. I want to improve the structure of our society. And I believe in my heart that it begins with parenting. Many times I've spoken to parents, and when they hear the title of our book, Change the Parent, Change the Child, a lot of times parents' guards go up and they become, almost offended at the title. There's nothing to be offended about. I made these mistakes myself, and I've learned a better way. And I've grown from these mistakes. And I want to share these ideas and concepts with you, my viewers. Changing a parent's mindset will work wonders for parenting, work wonders for your children. I've researched these things, I've studied them, and I've made the mistakes myself. Some of these things I've done, and I've learned a better way. The way kids were raised when I was a kid just simply does not work today. You can't yell at kids. God forbid, the physical part. Listen, I do believe in giving a kid whooping their behind and basically beat the bark off their behind when it's needed. But I do know a better way. I do know a better way. We have very doable concepts in our book about how to improve the behavior and structure of a child. And in my heart, I believe if I change the behavior of the parent, I will ultimately change the behavior of the child. Because the child gets their ideas and their concepts. The foundation of that comes from their parent, or wherever they're around the most. That's where it comes from. So it changed the parent, changed the child. In our book, in these concepts, we focus on that. And in my heart, I believe that is the key to taking back control of our homes, our schools, and our society. It begins with changing the mindset of our parent, because that's the beginning. When our child is this big, grown up, where do they get their ideas and concepts about whatever? It comes from home. So I believe that I must impact the parent. I must impact the parent. That's where it starts. That's why we're here. That's why I do what I do. Because I was very, very tired of arresting what I feel are very good, credible, young children for various crimes. But then when I talk to them and find out what they really have going on inside, it's like this could have been corrected at home. Back to the parent. Change the parent, change the child. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at chiefastit@aol.com. Please feel free. There's no bad question. I want to help, and this is the beginning. And it starts with you. Thank you.